Hi, we've improved on our range of wireless AV senders by adding in a new 5.8 gigahertz wireless sender to complement our existing 2.4 gigahertz model. Now this is a more upmarket professional unit, but it works very much on the same principle as our previous model in the thing. So basically, if you're asking the question, I just want to cover quickly why you would use a wireless AV sender. What you're trying to do is you have, we'll say, a satellite box or a DVD or something in a location, and you want to beam the signal to a remote location, right? What are the problems you'd face in trying to do this? Well, if I picked up a satellite receiver here that's similar to the one we have over here, what we'd have to physically do if we were just running a cable is we'd have to run it from the RF output on the satellite receiver to the other box. If we look here, there is no RF output. So that means what we want to do with this particular unit is take a SCART output, convert it into a wireless signal and beam it to the second location. If there was an RF output here, normally it's simply a passive 9-volt output, which makes it impossible to control the signal remotely. And the third point is maybe there's no cable running between the two locations. So using a wireless unit makes it very cost effective and easy to retrofit. Okay. So what I want to do now is demonstrate here how we can set up this unit and how easy it is to get it to install and work. Okay, so what I'm going to do initially is I'm going to pick up this what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to just cover all the parts that make up the kit here quickly. So you can see the receiver and the transmitter ends are nearly mirror images of each other. So if we could talk about the transmitter end, we have a power unit, we have an IR sensor for allowed remote location and feeding the signal back into the box. Then we come along, we have the transmitter unit here itself. So you can see it comes with a little aerial like this, it's quite neat. If we look on the side, there's a thing for putting in the IR, which is the infrared sensor, an on-off switch. Then what we have is we have where we will be able to feed in this jack here that has a SCART on the other end, a 7.5 volt input, and then we have 3 switches here which allow us to select 8 separate channels, 0, 0, 0 all the way up to 1, 1, 1. Okay, so that's the transmitter end, and the receiver end is identical in terms of switches and things like this, except the IR sensor on is different. It's looking to work off of a remote control that'll be in on the remote television and send the signal back, and equally there's another cable that goes into it. Okay, so what I'll do here is I'll just demonstrate by installing this. So I'll come along and I'll simply pick up this transmitter unit here, and the first thing I'll do is I'll simply take the power unit here, I'll connect it in like this, and now I'll come along here, and this is the transmitter cable. I'll stick it in here like this as well, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to come and plug this in. And I'll take this, so immediately the LED light here has gone on. And now I'm just going to turn up this box upside down. I've angled it like this, and there's a SCART input here. And what we've done now is we have the transmitter unit added on. So it's taken the signal off this box and it's ready to transmit it across. So the next step here will actually be to install the receiver unit so we can beam this picture to a second television, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to set this up in advance again, which is simply come along. We'll put in the 9-volt input here, or the 7.5 volt input here. We'll come along, we'll put in the jack at this point, and we want to connect this onto this television. Now, push this power unit in here, and if you see on the back of the television here, there's actually a SCART lead here. We'll simply insert it like this. Okay, so we come to the television here itself in the front. You'll see there's no picture being broadcast here, but that's because we need to set this to the AV channel. So we come along and we go to AV here, so extension 1 it is in this picture television, and we come along and we can see the picture on the second location is on the first location. Okay, so from that perspective it's very, very good. So you see how quick it is to set up, instantaneous, and as I said, this would probably work perfectly in nearly all locations with the 2.4, but in certain locations where there's a lot of wireless equipment and things like that, to avoid the risk of interference, people might want to go for the 5.8 gigahertz. And certainly if you're in the professional business of putting in cameras, things like this, or if you were putting in carving systems, all the rest of it, then generally people do, to carry both of these. If you get away with the low cost unit, they certainly would, because it'll work perfectly. Like the picture resolution or anything isn't anything better with the higher gigahertz one. It's only about minimizing the chance of interference. Now the next step here is to actually make this system a little bit more user-friendly, because if we come along now and we try to change channels on a remote location, it won't work because there's no way of picking up the signal, sending it wirelessly back to come along and change channels. So what we need to do now is add on the IR sensors to do this. So if I take this unit from the back here, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to add on this sensor here. So what we'll do here is I push it in here, and if we look here at the IR thing, we'll see the LED is after coming on. So you see the red LED. And equally on the far end, what we need to do now is we need to come along here and put in this unit here. And what we normally do is we'll unfurl this cable here and run it along. I'd use a sticky pad to stick this on the front of the box, right where we know the remote control sensor is. And if you're not sure where the remote control sensor is on the thing, block the front of it and move it across slowly as you keep pressing the remote control. When you get to a point where it starts to work, then you'll know that's the point where the sensor on the box is, okay? So what we can do here is, just for the case of this demonstration, is we can just hold the sensors here and now aim this remote control at the other box. And we can see now we can change channels remotely on it. So from that perspective, it's excellent. So you can see even with this, it's a very, very quick setup on the box, okay? So that's it, beginning to end, an overview of the 5.8 gigahertz wireless thing. It's a nice option to have at a 2.4, and you know, certainly there's situations where it'll get over interference problems that you may just see occur.